Okay, I do believe that I am live. So, welcome to another Saturday with Breakthrough Astrology on the weekly transits. And I tell you, things are getting intense out there. Unexpected events, or for those who have not been listening to astrology, unexpected events are taking place and happening. And as we're watching everything unfold in these next couple of months, you guys just remember we're in really, really tough times. And some good things are just not going to happen. However, with that being said, what I try to bring to you guys through all of this, unexpected events and hardships, and sometimes, tragedies that are happening, I try to really bring you to a place where you do find hope, where there's something positive to think about. There is something that you can do within you to regain some self empowerment and to do something positive in your life. And I do that because we already have everything negative spread all over the news. Other astrologers are spreading the doom and gloom also. And some of it is just fact. They're right. This is what's happening. And so, what I'm trying to do is break through some of that and say, or, give a different perspective and how you can use the energies in your guys' own life to bring yourself self empowerment. So I just want you guys to, just kind of think about that when you're watching, like why am I doing such a different type of transit and or astrology type of weekly video every week? And that's why. Okay, I don't need to be just one or the other in the herd saying the same things. So I'm sorry, I'm just looking to see if I know that I'm live. I apologize. Just I continue to quite not figure out how YouTube is working versus my Zoom. But anyways, I digress with that. Let's go on. So one of the first things now last week I did say in my video, and I'm going to pull it up, that on the second that Moon was going to be in Ravati, and it's going to be really, really close to Mars retrograde. And Mars is Gandanta. This is a really, really hard, difficult aspect. It does bring tragedy. Okay. It just it just is what it is. Life has tragedy in it. Anybody who's lived in this world long enough knows that we can't control all the events that happen around us, okay? And it's not about us controlling the events, it's about us knowing what we're doing, controlling our values, controlling our mind, controlling our life. Everything on the outside of us, we have no control. So leave that off your plate of stress, okay? And trust me, if you do that, then your life will be a lot better, be a lot less stressful. So, anyways, on the second, I did say that in Ravati, and I'm just kind of reading my notes from last week's transit, that expect upheavals. And, you know, when it's coming from the Uttarabhadra, which is all about healers and counselors, you guys, and dealing with depression and darkness, right? Um, and the moon's coming now, going and getting closer to Mars retrograde. That's in Gandanta, and it's going into Ravati. So we're going to expect upheavals just by the mere current transits and where everything is aligned at. And this brings up upheavals in our life. It brings up insecurities in our life when upheaval happens. And something did happen. And of course, if you watched, like Sam Gappy, wonderful astrologer, Joni Petrie, wonderful astrologer. I even watched Leo King myself, wonderful astrologer. These guys are magnificent. And I'm actually in school, Sam Gappy's Vedic Astrology School, to get my certificate from him. So I work really closely with his teachings. But with that being said, what can we do in this time with all these upheavals that are coming up in our life? And you knew that they were going to happen. And of course, as I was saying, that we did have an upheaval. There is an upheaval. People are feeling it right now, really strong. Our president, whether you like him or not, whether you agree with him or not, a leader in a country, any country, when something negative or bad happens, there is an undercurrent of mourning. And what I'm not worried about, but what I see right now is that people are so cold-hearted right now, so many people. And we need to be praying for all of our leaders, not just one, but all of them. Pray for their health, pray for their mental sanity, pray for good mental health for them. Okay? Because if they're at their leading and they're not acting right, or they're not feeling right, that's going to reflect on their leadership. And instead of people supporting and praying and sending good intentions to somebody who is a leader who is ill, they're sending out hate and they're wanting this. They're wanting revenge, right? And so this is when we're using this type of energy in the wrong way. How is this lifting up society at all? It's really, really sad. So I'm not saying you have to like him, but it's a person. It's a person. Okay. So, with that being said, these energies that we're rocking into, for the remainder of this year are going to continue to delve out some events that you guys are just not aware of. Um, unless you're listening to the astrology, it's going to get tougher. And if you think that the only ill-fated thing that's going to happen is what has happened to Trump right now, you're incorrect. Because something also, it looks like from the predictions, something terrible is going to happen to Biden. Neither one's going to be president, by the way. So you guys were all fighting over who Biden and Trump and being president. Neither one. And we could be wrong. The astrologers that I'm listening to could be wrong, but it really looks like something not good is going to happen. And it's going to bring the country into a completely different direction. We're going to see something just like Joni Petrie says, that something unprecedented is going to happen. Okay. But where we can be at as people is where are we at within ourselves? Where's our self-empowerment? Where do we draw our power from? If we're stable and strong in our mind and in our emotions and in our health, no matter what may be happening and what's going on the outside, we can really make that difference within us where it doesn't shake us, where we're not living in fear, where we're not going to be rattled or knocked off our rocker. Okay. That we're prepared. Yeah. Okay. I'm prepared for this. and, and I'm praying for every single one of our leaders worldwide, globally, whatever is happening to any country, global, all over the world. And I know that some catastrophic things are going to happen that are not in our control, but it doesn't mean that you don't have control over your own emotions. And doesn't mean that you stop acting kind and you stop acting out of compassion. It just means these are the times when you get squeezed, when it's hard. And you feel like you may be getting triggered, that you go into that meditation, you still yourself. But not only that, but you show that much more kindness, and that you show that much more compassion. That's what this is trying to teach us. All of these events, whenever they may happen, within a week, 2 weeks, 2 days, 9 days, 8 weeks, on the election day, by inauguration, it's trying to teach us to move past that base animalistic survival mode and really elevate ourselves up to our higher souls, our higher spirit, if you will. So let's get started. I know I took out about 10-15 minutes, but if we go a little bit longer, just hang in there, guys. I'm getting through all of the emotional transits that where you may get triggered, and the underlying feelings. So one of the first things I need to say, I'm going to do a little bit different this time. Oh, and by the way, Michelle Cookhill will be joining us next week, and I do believe Siobhan will also. So I'm sorry that they haven't been here for the last couple of weeks, but you know what? Sometimes we just have to take that personal time out and take care of our responsibilities. And it just shows maturity and growth, right? That's what we all want to do. So, but they will be here next week. So now I'm just kind of got my feet up actually while I'm doing this transit video. So I'm a little bit relaxed going into this. So I want to talk about Saturn and Jupiter right now. And even though they haven't shifted out of their prospective places, Saturn has gone direct, and Jupiter is climbing his way a little bit closer to Uttara Ashada, where Saturn is. But right now, Jupiter, he is still in Purva Ashada. But we have a particular planet, and I know Vedic astrology doesn't use this a lot, but you know what? I think it's significant because, especially when these outer planets are sandwiched and at direct, exact conjunction degrees of our inner planets, I think it makes a huge difference in chart reading. So I do kind of pull those in. But with that being said, the outer planets show where the generation at a mass is kind of going and directing their movements. So I think they're important on that level too. Not so much, I wouldn't use them unless they're at an exact conjunct. I wouldn't use them in a personal reading. I would only use them as a global type of reading, a mundane reading. So I'm going to pull them in right now because I think they are having such a significant effect in what's going on inside of us. Okay. Because even with myself, I noticed some really strange kind of like, oh, where did that emotion or thought come from? Right. And I'm having to follow it to see where in the world did that come from. That's something that I didn't like. So I think we're going to see this in our life playing out more and more within the next month or two. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Pluto. So Jupiter is going on, Pluto is still retrograde. It is in the nakshatra of Uttara Ashada, by the way. It's on the Sagittarius side, not the Capricorn side. And the Saturn is direct and moving toward the retrograde Pluto. Here soon, Pluto will also be going direct, and they're going to be going right into a conjunction with Saturn. Now, I'm going to tell you what, Pluto is Hades. Pluto is about power, but it's not about the best use of our power. And it really brings up the worst of our, what you would want to call sins, or our darkness, where we don't want people to see things, where we want to hide things. Some of our worst fears, phobias. I'm just, it does have an eighth house Scorpio theme. That's why Tropical uses it for the eighth house. Okay. I just think it's more extreme because I know that Pluto in people's lives can bring out some really malefic events until we learn to take control of our own life. Okay. And as you can tell why it has such a Scorpio eighth house theme, we have to learn to control our life, our emotions. It's all about that inner control and that self-empowerment. So with Pluto, it delves out some pretty negative events, whether it's using you to bring out negative events, or negative events are going to happen to you depending on the placement of your natal chart, if it's exact conjunct one of your planets. Now, pulling back, right now we've got some really negative things that are coming out globally. And I'm not even going to talk about Mars being retrograde in Gandanta right now. I'm talking about where people have done some underhanded things. People will do, lie, cheat, and steal to gain power and control. So these things are going to continue to come out. Pluto is going to puke it all out, if you will, throw it all up. And he's giving Jupiter and Saturn everything that they're wanting to know and ask for. Now, with that being said, Jupiter, we have to remember that Jupiter doesn't always give us what we think is our highest wisdom and actions, if you will, the best results. Because even though Jupiter is really strong and in Sagittarius, Jupiter rules religions, organizations, churches, those type of things, especially in Sagittarius. But organizations and religions and our beliefs doesn't mean that they have to be good or like-minded. It could be KKK, it could be Antifa, right? It could be underground organizations. But these guys who run these type of organizations that maybe we don't believe in, they've got probably a really strong Jupiter, right, in their chart, and probably maybe even Sagittarius. All I know is they have a good strong Jupiter. So it doesn't mean that they're spiritual or on the same spiritual path that we are. Okay. So that's crossing over. So I think that some good things can happen and some bad things can happen. Maybe, something good can come out of all of this at the end, but also expect not such good things coming out of it either. We could end up certain organizations that we don't think is good, that we don't like, can really either act out or start. New organizations can start. And we're going to have power plays and controls because, remember, they really think that they're right. And the same with churches and such. So that's all going to be kind of taking place as Jupiter and going direct now. And Pluto is going to start going direct. So all of the stuff is going to kind of be delivered up. So anything that was hidden is going to come out to light, good or bad. And then with that being said, it's going to run into Saturn. And Saturn, Saturn doesn't rule over the government. The sun does. Now, remember I was talking in my, who is the sun video. The sun does not take anything. It does not receive anything. It does not ask for anything. The sun only gives. It's Sattvic. It gives without condition. It just gives and gives and gives. Okay. The government is ruled by the sun. Now, with that being said, Saturn represents the people who work under the sun, that they're the servants to the people, right? So Saturn rules over them because these people are not the sun. They work for the government, they work for the establishment, but their very doings and how they are delving out the laws and the regulations and the taxes, that's ruled by Saturn. So you can tell that they're trying to gain control of the people again. They're trying, the government is trying to do whatever they can to get control of the people. They want control of the people. That's what's happening. And that's going to come out. It's going to come out even more clear. I think something is going to happen on that realm where the people are going to say, no, here in America and in other countries, where the people are going to say, we're tired of being controlled. This is not going to happen. This is what's going to cause the fights, the mayhem, the riots, and the wars, because the people are tired of all the lies, manipulations, and the deceit that the governments worldwide dish out. They're not doing what is best for us. So we need to keep that in mind. Now, we're done with the world, kind of how it works on the worldly side. What does this look like for your own life, just in this realm, in this aspects and degrees that I was talking about, Sagittarius and Capricorn? And look in your own life. This could be really bringing up your own beliefs, where you are going to question, am I really believing, if what I'm believing, is that really correct? Do I need to change my beliefs? Do I have control over myself, or do I feel like somebody is overpowering me and controls me? Do I have control over my circumstances, or does somebody else does? And it's going to also bring up maybe some hidden beliefs and thoughts that you had deep down that are just ugly, that you don't want. In fact, you've ignored. And, all I could say at this time, and I'm talking to everybody, this is going to affect everybody at a different angle in their life. All right. What are those beliefs? Don't push those beliefs down, or thoughts or emotions down. Do not ignore them. This is the chance to bring up the ugliest that we have in ourselves, and we all do. We're all yin and yang. And to transform that into something that is good, to heal, to kill it, completely heal it. So if we turn this inward and give ourselves that self-empowerment, we will see, honest, if we bring those things out and we heal them in ourselves, that it will give us a brand new life like you never dreamed of. You don't know, because those things are in you and they affect your very thoughts and your feelings and your actions that you do every day. You just don't realize it. It's in your subconscious. You're just not aware of it. So in your own life, look at this. Are you trying to control people around you, or are people trying to control you? Either way, it's the same thing on different spectrum. It means there's something inside you that you need to fix and to heal, or not. I shouldn't say fix, but I know that I'm working on myself, but there's so much healing that needs to be done. Okay. So really, really without bias, look at your own action and what you're doing and what you're contributing to create your own life. Because whether you like your life or not, your actions right now at this present moment, your actions have brought you to these very events. So I wanted to, now let's move on to Rahu and Ketu. They're still, Rahu is in Taurus still, Ketu is in Jayestha. Rahu's in Mrigashira. And so this can be a wonderful time or not so wonderful, depending upon, again, where you're at in your spiritual walk and transformation. It can trigger people going after their desires without much thought, and actually hurting people, because they are directly correlated right now with Mars retrograde, which is in the Gadanta point. And Scorpio is Scorpio is a sign, zodiac sign, that is associated, and the ruler of it is Mars. Mrigashira is associated also with Mars. Okay. And Jayasa, just for one more aspect on top of that, Jayasa is ruled or associated, with Mercury. And right now, Mercury is in a Rahu associated nakshatra. That is Swati, that is ruled or associated with Rahu. So all of these planets are talking to each other. So you'll see a little bit of a thing here on not such good things are going to happen. So one thing I can absolutely guarantee you guys, please, the media is lying to you. People are not spreading the truth. And then you got people who think they know the truth that are spreading untruths. Okay, they're falsehoods. They just don't realize it. They truly believe, because it lines up, it feeds whatever they need to be fed. So these things that are coming out on social media are not true. We don't know the truth. All right. This is why we really need to turn inward, because whatever we're being fed by the media, social media, all the news networks, there's so much different information and so much hate, and they have their own agenda. They have their own purpose, that it's triggering everything that they're saying, and it's done on purpose. By the way, this is manipulation. All right. And we're going to, when everybody's going to find out they've been manipulated to and lied. And when that day happens, that's the day of reckoning. People are going to get angry. All right. People don't like to be lied to. But this is what happens when we don't have self-awareness and we don't go inward and we start listening to ourselves and not other people. You get lied to and you get manipulated, and everybody can. Don't think anybody is exempt from being lied to or manipulated. So it's one of the things that we have to learn in this world, is to see through the lies and see through the deceit and learn to really listen to ourselves. So something I think is, possibly, I don't want to say for sure, but when the moon does go and join up with Rahu, in the next 7 days, I believe. When do I have Rahu going in there? Rahu, where are you? Oh, I'm in totally the wrong one. I apologize. October 3rd. Okay. So when Rahu goes, or the moon goes into Mrigashira, and he goes into Mrigashira on the 7th, okay, really be careful and watch out, because we got Mercury. I think he's retrograde, but I know that Mercury is in that nakshatra. Watch out about who you're going to be discussing things with. Watch your money, watch your values, watch your valuables. That's going to trigger something that day, that there's going to be a major deceit and a major lie that's going to affect people, probably globally and also on a personal level. And it could be something really small, or it could be something really big, depending upon your chart. But I'm just saying, watch out for that day. However, what a beautiful day, though, to really use that chance to still your mind and still yourself. And when you're finding that you have this desire that's insatiable and so strong, what a perfect day to be able to focus on self-control. And we really do this by meditation and focusing on our values and what's important. You just got to remember, what is your values and what is important to you. So just remember, you guys, that that's all of these events that are happening around us. It is really about our own personal growth, and how are we reacting and or responding to it? What are we doing with our own life? Because we are responsible for ourselves. Nobody else is. And what are we doing with our own life to better our situation? Because this won't be the last tragic events that happen in the world. Okay, another 18 years, 18 and a half years, something else is going to happen. So let's be prepared for it. I know that I'm taking this chance too. So Mars again is in Gandanta, but I kind of already went over that. It's going to be going over into Pisces. So when Mars finally makes that leap over into Pisces, I do, it won't be in that fiery Ashwini anymore. So it's going to calm down a little bit, but expect now more of the storms that involve water. And maybe wind, because it is associated, Ravati is associated with Mercury. Um, so, and that's kind of, a movement, Rajastic type of planet. So, anyways, so expect some more, storms, just different forms. And thank God though that the fires will die down, right? With Mars coming out of that fiery sign. Now the sun, of course, is still in Hasta, so we're still, again, this is a business nakshatra. This is about, getting things right, doing things right, and really being self-empowered enough to be able to shine bright, where you're humbled, and where you're serving humanity, where you're bringing out your services, um, and you just want to give without having to take. Even though I know that Virgo is a Tomastic sign, and that's more of survival needs. But what we do out in the world, it does provide for our survival needs. It does bring about money and such for us to survive, and food and all that good stuff. So, but I'm not going to dive into that too much. Mercury and Swati, I covered that really good last week. So remember, it's ruled by Rahu. So watch your valuables, watch your guys' money, watch your guys' resource. Mercury's going retrograde, and I apologize, I don't have it set up here. I'm not sure exactly the date when it goes retrograde, but you guys, when it's going retrograde, um, and it's in that air sign, it's in Libra. I mean, this is about justice um, and commerce and business. And it can, the scales can get tipped a little bit. And with it being where Rahu is at in Megashira, it really can deal with our finances, our money, and how we are dealing with all of that. So it just seems to me that I think either it's going to be, if something negative is going to happen, it will be between partnerships, um, or the banking system, or the government, if you will. Um, I think that's how, if something is going to happen, that's where we really need to watch our valuables and our values, what we value. And so be really careful with that too. We can really be taken, deceived, and stolen our own values. We need to make sure that we don't let go of those, and we don't let anybody destroy those or make us act outside of our values. That would not be a good situation for anybody. Um, Venus, of course, is still in the sign of Leo. And so, Venus, Leo is the king, and he wants good things and he wants luxury. Just think of a lion, but he's very fierce in what he's going to protect. But it's a Sophic sign, by the way. So Venus, not completely comfortable here. Venus wants luxury here though. So Venus could become very selfish, very mind oriented. I want, I want, I want, I want. Um, or Venus, depending on, where you're at in your chart, or Venus could be more about, I just really want to give and take care of my family because this is what I value. So, just kind of, again, it's according to your chart, but Venus is going to want to be more high minded and be more sattvic and higher spirited in the sign of Leo, even though Leo does have to do with being creative and having fun. This is a really good chance for you guys to dip into your own creativity, what makes you happy, and bring your values out and really bring them out to a place where maybe you're gaining more education, maybe you're gaining more knowledge from your from this transit, and where you are going to be able to produce something out to the world that you never dreamt of, that's going to be beautiful, successful, and just absolutely remarkable. So this is how you can use Venus in Leo. What a great chance to do this. And she may want an extra piece of chocolate cake. I mean, that, let's be honest, that's what happens with Venus. Sometimes we want too much of a good thing, and that certainly can happen with Venus being in Leo. Too much of a good thing can lead to disastrous results. So balance, you guys, balance. So the moon today is in Ashwini. Tomorrow is going to be in Bharani. Monday is going into Kritika. Tuesday is going into Rohini. Thursday is going into Mrigashira. And I think I got that right. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Mrigashira. Thursday is going into Ardra, and then Punabashu, it will be in on next Friday when I do Venus Friday. So, and again, Ashwini with the moon in there, the moon's going to just feel. It's going to feel impulsive. It's going to feel agitated, a little bit angry, maybe a little bit frustrated. There's going to be some type of discontentment, because we feel like our desires are not being met, or being ignored. And just really be careful that when these feelings are coming up, just feel them. Don't use Mars and act on them, because it can make us really, really kind of angry, or maybe not even angry. Maybe some of us can just feel really depressed and just like, I give up. I feel like I'm not in control, right? And so it can bring about those type of feelings. Now, when the moon goes into Bharani, we're going to probably expect some news, things that are hard to accept. Changes are going to happen because it's going to be with Uranus, and Uranus is sitting there in Bharani. And so just means that something is going to be delivered to us that's going to feel sudden. It's going to feel, all right, not that it's going to rock your world. It's going to feel like it's going to rock your world. It's not, you're going to have an unsettled mind about it. And it's going to be sudden, something very different, something unexpected. Okay. And remember, the moon is not necessarily about acting out. The moon only fills. That's the only thing that the moon does, is fill. The moon does not act. The moon is complete receptivity. So wherever the moon is in your chart, that's where the moon is going to just fill and not act out. It's receptive, okay? It gives us these certain feelings and these certain emotions that we're not necessarily supposed to act on. We just have no choice but to feel them, all right? Kritika. So after Bharani, so Monday is Kritika. Kritika is a fierce nakshatra, the feelings, emotions of things being cut away from your life. And it kind of like eats at our emotions, if you will. But something else about Critica, that it is ruled by the or associated, not ruled, associated with the sun. And the sun right now is in Hasta, which is associated, with the moon. Okay, so there's a little bit of communication between the sun and the moon, but however, the sun is in a Mercury ruled sign. And at the beginning degrees of Critica is in a Mars ruled sign. The moon is in a Mars ruled sign. And then we also have Rahu associated, and we have K2 associated with us. So this is just this would be a really good day to watch who you're communicating with, watch who you're listening to, watch your valuables, watch your values. All right, watch, protect yourself, go within, know who you're listening to, know who you're talking to. All right, check yourself. So because Critica really is about transformation and purification. It's hot and hot, by the way, with Shiva. Something else I found very valuable with the Kritika Nakshatra, it is also associated with the peacock. And the peacock was so significant is the peacock feather. And the peacock has everything to do with that pineal gland, the blue pearl, right? That's the significance of the peacock. And this is where we can go within, connect to that pineal gland, connect to that blue pearl, meditation, right? And activate Lord Shiva in our life and be able to purify and transform ourselves. That's how we should really actually be using this energy. And if we do that, and we do that every morning and we do that every evening, these practices are so important. But why we're doing it, exactly what are the energies are we invoking, and why we need to intelligently meditate, not just meditate. And when we know the reason why and we know what we're doing, then our day goes by a lot smoother and you're more in control. You're self-aware. Rohini is the next nakshatra after Kritika. So we've got Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Rohini. And it's associated with the moon. And, Rohini, though, really does. The moon loves it here. The moon loves Rohini. That's what has evoked jealousy from the story of Rohini, because the moon spent so much time in Rohini that the other wives got jealous, which Jayasta got the wife in there ended up with being jealous because the moon was spending so much time with her sister Rohini. So with that being said, watch, even though the moon is going to feel good, the moon will probably want to eat chocolate cake that day, by the way. Yeah, but remember, it is receptive. So be careful about what we're receiving as far as, again, business deals, because we got Sun and Hasta still, and Mercury does, and Rahu plays a big part in all of this now because they're all talking to each other. They're not acting alone. And so when we got the moon in Rohini, the moon can be deceived and it just wants to receive. Okay, yeah, tell me anything that makes me feel good. Yeah, this feels really, really good. And when we do that, what happens is that we can receive something that's not too good. That chocolate cake can be poisoned. Did I just say that? You know what? I can't believe I just said that. But you know what? I'm thinking now that I said that, and that definitely was not planned on. That was not in my notes, by the way. I think we need to look out for that, because these transits could be where somebody poisoned, whether poisonous words or actually being poisoned. We're definitely set up for this. Definitely, if you look at